Hey guys, so in today's video, we're going to be checking out the Moto G04. So this was recently released and it's a budget phone here in the UK costing £89.99. So that's very cheap for a smartphone. We'll be diving into the Moto G04 in this video. Stay tuned for an honest and comprehensive review that'll help you make that decision for your next smartphone investment. So in this review, we'll be checking out the performance. We'll check out how the phone handles gaming, what the speaker sounds like, and what the display is like. So let's start off by checking out what we actually get with the phone. So the box here, logo, a bit about the display on the back, 90 Hz. Nice to see that on a phone at this price. Slice that open the lid. Moto G04 sitting on top. Then we get your user guide and some warranty information, SIM ejecting pin, USB-C charging cable, and then a 10-watt charging brick, and the phone can support 15-watt charging. And then we have the Moto G04 itself. So let's check out the design and build of the Moto G04. Got the 6.6-inch screen on the front. To the right, we've got the volume buttons and then the power button, which is also a fingerprint reader. So good to see that on a phone at this price point. Around the bottom, we've got a microphone, USB-C port, and then the single firing speaker. And we got all the UK regulatory text all over the bottom there. To the left side, we've got the SIM/memory card tray. You got a dual nano SIM setup and a memory card expansion up to 1 TB. I'm gonna pop my SIM in there. Around the top, we've got the headphone jack with the Dolby Atmos branding, and then we've got the 5-megapixel camera with the earpiece. Around the back, we've got this nice matte finish along with the 16-megapixel rear camera and flash we can see. And this is a plastic setup, so around the back and the sides. Build-wise, seems good. I can't hear any creaking or groaning, so it seems robustly built. So for the screen of the Moto G04, we have a 6.56-inch display to be precise. It is an IPS LCD panel, and like I mentioned, can run up to 90 Hz refresh rate. It's a HD plus panel, resolution being 1612 by 720 and 269 ppi. So it's a 720 panel, which is expected at this price point. We'll have a look at brightness. So dim's quite low, and I couldn't find the actual figure for the highest nits on here, but it's not that bright. And then if we just look on the display settings, you can pick your saturation if you wanted to, and obviously you can go in and choose your refresh rate. So you have auto, 60 Hz or 90. So I'm going to leave that on auto, and then we just have normal generic settings further down. Viewing angles, they're not the best. You can see here at more extreme angles, there's a considerable dip in brightness, and there's like a change in the temperature as well. So not exactly the best, but again, we have to keep the price in mind. And we can see it here a bit more evident on a white kind of background. We have wide level 1 support across the board. So for certain apps that'll work, but Netflix was stating level 3. But again, playback on here was fine, sharp enough for a 720p panel. Played good old Rick and Morty, as always. And generally, the display itself, it was fine. I mean, brightness was a bit of an issue for me, but watching or consuming media on here is absolutely fine. You know, you're gonna get what you get with an IPS LCD panel. So for a budget phone and a 720p panel at 90 Hz, it is decent at the price point. For YouTube, highest playback is 1080p. And you can also play back 1080p 60 FPS videos, and was running absolutely fine. Keep watching and we'll see what the speaker on this phone sounds like. So outdoors, the phone generally outside, the screen is readable like you can see, but in direct sunlight here, you can see like literally can't see anything on the screen. So you have to keep that in mind. For speakers, we have a single firing speaker at the bottom of the phone, which is Dolby Atmos tuned. Again, good to see at this price point. And then if you jump into the settings, you can adjust output based on whatever you would like at the time. And then you can dial in to different settings, or you can obviously choose custom adjust the equalizer yourself. But we'll check out what the speakers sound like. And this is how Honor have put it. The smooth aluminium alloy texture comes. So on the performance and software side, the phone comes with 64 gigabytes of storage. The RAM type on this phone is LPDDR4X, so that's good to see. The processor is the Unisoc T606, which is controversial, yes, but it's built as an entry-level CPU along with an entry-level GPU. The phone's running on Android version 14. However, you will not get any OS updates on this phone. Only 2 years of security patches, which is quite disappointing. So if you get the phone, you're going to be stuck on Android 14. So you have 4 gigabytes of additional RAM boost if you wanted to add that on. Benchmarks, it's going to be what we expect. And if we look at Antutu, we got 250,778 on my testing. If we have a look at Geekbench 6, 380, 1331. So, you're right at the bottom there. But generally, using the phone, it's okay for your normal daily tasks, just using your phone casually. Like split screen here is working absolutely fine, and Motorola do a good job of optimizing their software for their CPUs, but you will get some lagging and stuttering across the phone if you're using it more heavily. Apps will take maybe a second or two to load, and sometimes it's not as responsive as you'd like to be or as snappy. But we have to keep in mind that this phone is only £90. Just browse around, opening different apps, just so you get an idea of what you're dealing with. Control panel, what we expect with Motorola's UI. Notifications there at the bottom, and then you can pull down to dump into the controls. So we've had a look at what the performance is like, but let's check out gaming and stick around to see what that's like. And then we'll just check out what video processing is like. So I've got a 1080p video here in InShot Editor, and it's about 1 minute and 52 seconds long. And this took quite a while just to export that video. So if you're looking to do stuff like this, then just keep in mind there's going to be quite a long processing time. We can see that basically hit around 2 minutes and 35 seconds to export a 1080p video. So just bear that in mind. So for biometrics, we do get a fingerprint reader, which is built into the side button here. That's really good to see a fingerprint reader at this price point, registering just as you normally would, and works absolutely fine. You just have to touch the button and it unlocks fairly quickly. So definitely good to see that. So we'll jump into gaming quickly. So we're starting off at 62% battery, and I'll start off with PUBG Mobile. Apologies, I couldn't set up a in-game FPS monitor. For PUBG, highest we could do is HD, and we can pick high refresh rate. Everything else is blocked out. So we'll just jump in and have a look. The game seems to be running fine. Again, it's not running at a very high FPS rate. If I was to guess, I'd probably say around maybe the 20 mark, something like that. But again, that's me totally guessing. You can get a lot smoother than this, but for the T606, it's kind of expected, and the limited graphics, again, to be expected. So if you're a gaming person, this wouldn't be the ideal phone, but some light, casual gaming, I guess you wouldn't have much of a problem. And I can feel the phone has warmed up slightly around the back there. We'll kind of push it a bit and see how Jaeger runs on the phone. So we'll start off with the smooth graphic settings, and yeah, seems to be fine, running absolutely capable, no real stutters or lagging that I'm noticing at the moment, which is to be expected, but obviously you can see the graphics have taken a massive hit. But let's bump it up to ultimate, and everything's set on very high. And straight away it's, you know, it's like as if it's playing in slow motion. You can see it's struggling quite a bit, froze there for a second. So no, yeah, you wouldn't be able to play. I mean, the graphics do look nice, and eventually it's going to crash saying that the device is showing that it's laggy. So I'm going to switch back down to Ultra HD. We'll check that out, and that seems to be running smoother. So 17 minutes of gaming in, and yeah, it's not too bad on this setting. Again, frame rate doesn't look the best. It does seem a little bit choppy here and there, so you're gonna have to drop down to the smooth settings if you wanted to get a bit more of an enjoyable experience playing games on here. And our battery has come down to 57%, so battery life is quite good from what I can tell so far. And then generally just browse around the phone, seems to be running fine. And then we'll check out Asphalt. So this is on the default graphic settings, running absolutely fine on this, nice and smooth. We'll bump that up to high quality, and yeah, still running fine. I mean, this is 28 minutes now with back-to-back gaming. So like I said, if you're happy with limited graphics and FPS, then you know you'll be okay. Battery went down to 55% there, so not bad, but limited. And after all of that gaming, I'll test the battery later on, and we'll jump in to see how the battery actually holds up. For battery, we're working with a 5000 milliamp hour battery, and with my usage I was really impressed across the board. Like even with my benchmarking gaming, the battery life held up really well. You get a 10-watt charging brick with the phone, but you can charge 15 watts with a compatible charger, and it takes roughly about 2 hours with 15-watt charging to charge from 0 to full battery. And on my battery test, 12 hours or 47 minutes from 100% down to 20. That's with the screen brightness at 75% and the speaker volume around 25%. So fairly impressive. Battery was good, and you'll get at least, I would say, 2 days of casual use. For the cameras, nothing to write home here about. You get your normal generic things: video, photos, portrait, night, and then if you jump in the settings, just your generic things here that you can pick from. Turn those on. And then for video, you only get HD and FHD, which is locked in at 30 frames per second. So you wouldn't be buying this phone for the camera. But we'll have a look at some video samples and photos that I've taken so you can judge yourself. And please bear in mind, I'm not exactly the best photographer out there. See what the mic quality is like as well. You can see there's no image stabilization whatsoever. So in conclusion, for me personally, I think for £90, this phone is what you would expect at that price point, and I feel like Motorola have done a good job with this phone. Yes, it's disappointing with no support for OS upgrades, and the cameras, yeah, I wouldn't even bother. But with the Unisoc T606, we're getting entry-level performance. So some people might use this as a burner phone, as a second phone, or if it is your primary phone, then just keep in mind that you aren't going to be able to do much productivity on here. Gaming is going to be limited, but you get the basics if you're happy with limited graphics and frame rates, as are shown in the gaming section. That's it from me, guys. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the like button. If you're not subscribed, I would appreciate if you press that subscribe button, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Take care.